Yes. Hey Siri, open recorder. Okay, time being 6:33, I call the Ashland Planning Board meeting of Thursday, August 21st, 2025 for order. Roll call, Trish? Here. Linda? Here. I'm Kendall Hughes and I am present. Andy?
Here.
Bethany is excused. John Thomas is excused. John Harville
Here.
and Donna Lacurdo. Here. Okay. I'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First order of business is the minutes. Yes, ma'am.
I have two teeny corrections on page 3, line 90. Just its punctuation, be no further discussion on the application.
Oh, yeah, I see. I got it.
Incomplete, comma, and then that should be
Right,
the
I
motion
need, I
passed.
need to strike the period that's in there.
Yeah, or just put a comment in.
Yeah, well, it's a period and then a comma. So I just need to take out the period
And
Mhm.
and the
and the V. Okay,
Mhm. And then on page 4, line 133. Instead of, at their next meeting, instead of period, should be a comma. And then after August 14th, instead of a comma, it should be a period. Let's see.
okay. Andy,
So, line number 97, Andy Fitch made a motion and it was seconded by blank. Tish, was that you
Yeah.
that seconded that?
Mhm.
anyone have anything else?
Not for me.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as changed.
Okay, Andy's motion to accept the minutes has changed. Linda has seconded the motion. Any discussion? No. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Who are our voting members tonight?
Yes. Mr. Harville, we'd like to appoint you as a voting member in the absence of Miss Bethany Franz. Okay, any objections?
No.
So done. All right, that would bring us to Squam Building Landing presentation.
Presentation, okay.
Mhm.
So you were here for a non-binding consultation before the planning board?
Yeah, just kind of show you what we want to do. It's, what we have is, my wife really went all out. Doesn't do anything small.
Could you state your name for the
Oh
record?
yeah, hey, my name is Steve Tamalonis. My father-in-law is Dave Semino, who owns Swanbridge Landing. And for the last 15 years, I've been helping him out. The last 3 years now, I've really stepped in to really run the place. So what I want to show you is this is in back in the 50s, they had a bunch of cottages over by the covered bridge. That, and before the River Street actually continued up to Route 3. It was an arc. One of those cottages was actually moved when they created the marina, and it is still here. Now it's all rotted underneath. We'd be making a few minor changes. This is just basically an empty shell with electricity. All right. So I have a picture here.
I'm better with some of the.
So here's the, can everybody see that?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so we got the little office, we call it the office. It's the office right there. And then we have a storage shed, then we have a garden shed, and this is where the gas tank is. So what we're basically gonna be doing is eliminating this little building here and replacing this.
Okay,
Okay, that's what we wanna do.
So would it be the same footprint as? the one that
Basically,
you're tearing
yeah,
down?
basically the same footprint. What I got is, I got some things I can share with you. So, yeah, we're also contacted with the DES.
Mhm.
So, the state is, that's kind of like the first thing we gotta do since we're so close to the river. So let me share this. My wife made 4 copies. But, I'll pass it around. What you're gonna see here is, there is, and I got a big copy of it too. That we can. You can see the covered bridge, you can see,
Very familiar, yep.
okay. So basically it's the same size. And we got a bigger version of that.
And it's the storage shed or the garden shed that you're taking out?
That's a very good question. So it's gonna be. The garden shed is going.
okay.
That's the one that's really close to the gas. We have a gas dock here.
Mhm.
So this is the river. And that's the marina area, covered bridge.
Bless you.
Yeah, so the garden shed here, that's just about as old as.
Yeah,
the
well, it's gone.
it's- Yeah, and it's falling in.
Yep.
Ground too. So that's going, and we're just gonna basically same footprint.
Okay, so the building inspector told us that you were going to enlarge it. Is that not true?
Well, yeah, maybe, I think it's,
About 5 feet.
something like that. What does it say on there? It's actually a porch. We'd be going around and
Oh, so it's the porch that is increasing the size. Okay.
that's, yeah,
Not
basically,
the actual
it's
building.
not the actual building,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay,
What we'd be doing is, we're gonna, put a porch around it. It is actually a little wider.
Mm-hmm.
Good catch. Yeah, but the porch is like an L shape. So we can actually, if it's in inclement weather, or I can just sit inside the air conditioner when it's 100.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see if any boats come in, then I can just come on out, or I can get right into the garage if I have any work to do in there.
Would this be like a deck porch or would it be?
It would be,
closed?
yeah, it'd be a covered porch.
Covered but open,
Yeah,
Air.
wide open, yeah.
okay. So in
And
other words,
basically, yeah, what we'd like to do is actually build it on a cement slab. So
Yeah.
the porch would be a cement slab. So no railings are needed,
Yeah.
just you step 6 inches down onto the place.
So the issue that you're going to have is this is a non-conforming lot to start with,
Correct.
and you're then making it slightly more non-conforming by doing that. I think the plan is great. Sounds wonderful, and
Mhm.
the building inspector has told me the same thing. But because it's non-conforming and a non-conforming thing.
Yep.
We need to go to the ZBA.
Right,
For variance.
right.
So. Their next meeting will be it's the second Thursday of September.
Okay. Yeah,
do you get
that-
on your agenda?
yeah, I would love to get on there and check it. Yeah, because I know that we're familiar with that process. Where, I get the abutters
September 11th,
September 11th.
great day.
Yes,
So September 11th is their next meeting.
okay,
You will, we can take a vote to formally send you to there. I believe that's what we have to do.
oh, excellent.
Then, that will be in our minutes. Call Jane on Tuesday, the land use secretary,
Okay,
the one you spoke to about coming here.
yeah,
And she will put you on their agenda for the 11th.
okay,
And then they'll have their meeting, and then she should have enough time to put you back on our agenda, either for the 18th or the following one, depending on what your time frame is.
okay,
Okay?
yeah.
but if you want to continue, you're welcome to.
No, you guys have plenty of business and, I just wanted to give you a quick overview of what we're doing.
Yep.
Or what we would like to do.
Yeah, no, it sounds like you're doing a great thing there. You're improving the area. You're continuing to do good business and good business practices. I think we all applaud that.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad you appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So do we need a motion?
You do need a motion to send them to the ZBA.
So moved.
So Linda moves to send them, Squam Bridge Landing to the ZBA for, a variance for non-conformality.
I'll second.
Andy seconds that.
Good.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. So there's your next clear step.
Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you. And beautiful,
Mhm.
drawings.
Yeah, they were.
My son is an architect.
Good job.
Yeah, so you'll see more of his stuff.
All right, so, that brings us to education. Today, you all got a email, I know it was slightly late, for, zoning board changes to family childcare. I don't know if any of you were able to attend it. I did attend it. It was pretty dry.
Good night.
Take care. There are some changes which have been significant. That basically says you can't, hold up a childcare facility in a zoning. They have a preference from the state to move forward. There's new legislation to that. But there are different new laws and everything. It is all available online. I can send anyone that wants it the link. That goes for the public as well. I'll be happy to. It was very informative. It was a little dry, but it was informative. Also in education, the land use conference, which is October 4th. We are sending 5 people to it. The land use secretary, Jane Sawyer, will be attending with you. John Harville will be going, Linda Barnes, Donna Lucurdo, and John Thomas. You can all ride together. It's down in Manchester. It's a fun time. I went this spring. Very similar. You're going to learn a lot. Bring a notebook. Okay. Yep. That brings us to,
Can I just? go
Yes.
back a minute? With the childcare, this was just. Was it the bottom line that towns cannot hold up somebody putting in childcare? I assume that means that they meet all the state requirements.
they have to meet, there's a whole bunch of state requirements that they will have to meet. But once they've met those, they can go in any zone.
Okay.
You mean build the actual building or run some private ones in there?
Run private ones in their own home and everything. They have to meet the state requirements, but they are allowed to do that in their own home.
Okay.
One of the contributing factors to this was if you start at the New Hampshire State House, you go 15 miles before you find a daycare center.
Okay.
Would
So-
that mean they'd have to, I mean, if they're doing it in their home, would that come under the category of home
It
occupation?
could come under the category of home occupation. One of the rules that they did point out was that under home occupation, a lot of towns say that you can only have one home occupation. So in the example they gave was you have a daycare, they have 6 kids per one provider.
Mhm.
And then they have someone else in the house who has a home occupation as an architect.
Mhm.
So that would be 2 home occupations in one. The new law allows for that to happen.
Okay.
So
And we don't have any restrictions on that anyway.
we don't, we really are not affected by a lot of the new changes. We've already incorporated those,
Mhm.
so. Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else? Okay, I'm gonna move to, well, I guess it really doesn't matter, but I'm gonna move to new business first. And in your packets, you have a blasphemy ordinance. Ron, you've looked this over, right? Do you have any comments? Okay,
I just kind of breezed through it quick.
okay. Did you all receive this in an email? Alright. obviously you're all aware why we're looking at this now. I believe, so in open disclosure, I have looked at several different communities, blasting permits. I've gone out of state to look at them. This is actually based very strongly off Augusta, Maine's. I think that in reading it, it is very thorough, it's very straightforward, and it accomplishes the end goal of making sure the public is notified and that everything is done in a safe manner.
I have two thoughts on this. I
Yep.
went through it. So under definitions, I'm thinking about how the rep for the Hilt project kept referring to fluff. So I'm thinking maybe we should add that term to the definitions.
So,
Because,
yeah,
it just,
I'm just
I
trying
don't,
to, you
and
know,
I don't know what the technical definition of that is, but since it's a term that kept getting used, then having a definition that we accept might be one to add. So that would be on page 2.
yeah,
Sort of right before fly rock,
Fly Rock, there you go,
Yeah.
that's the one.
but right before that. Because he kept using the term, and I have no idea what the definition of fluff is, except stuff, it sounded like it was ground disrupted. And other people may know better than I do, but I just thought we should include the definition.
Right,
Mhm.
so. Yeah, I can definitely get a definition in there for it.
Yeah.
It's basically the overexpansion of
Mhm.
the blasted material.
Yeah. So
But
it's just,
I'll get a Webster's
So it's like the
definition.
cloud that it creates and whatever that cloud is made of,
No, it's
No.
stuff on the ground.
the
it's
stuff
stuff on the ground after
Yeah.
you blast, because it breaks up the earth, so it
Okay.
takes up more space than it
Okay.
did when it was all packed
The
down.
more space of what it takes up.
Yeah,
It
Okay.
absorbs air, which
yeah.
increases its size or
Okay.
something.
So if you're supposed to restore it to the original dimensions, you have an excess because of the sort of powder.
So you have to get rid of it.
So then you have to get rid of it
Okay.
and so on. But anyways,
Yeah.
it just kept coming up. And then the
Alright.
other thing,
Line it says fly rock and fluff is the same thing, so you might already have heavy fly rock.
Mm.
In the context of mining and excavation, fluff is generally understood to refer to fly rock, which is
Okay.
debris ejected from the blast site. So you could even put it in parentheses.
we could put
You're not-
fluff or fly wrap, maybe we just
That
put
would
them
be easier.
together so
Yep.
we don't
Yeah,
have to have
the
something.
line.
So
the
what,
other one.
yeah, why don't we just,
In parentheses. fluff.
yeah,
Yeah.
parentheses fluff.
Okay. And then the other thing I wondered about, I mean, this looks great. It's thorough, it's detailed, it's precise. I wondered on the next to last page, exceptions for undue hardship. And I wonder if you need to define, what does hardship mean? Because, I mean, what if someone comes in and says, well, this is gonna cost me too much, so I don't wanna have to follow the building ordinances. I mean, do we then, they can petition and we could say no, but I guess my question is, what in this kind of case does hardship actually?
So if you look below, take number B,
Hmm.
hardship, the building code enforcement can grant based on these three things
Yeah, okay,
as what hardship is.
okay.
So limited in the scope and the activity of the operation will be a temporary duration, i.e. limited number of blasts at a specific site and cannot be done in a manner that would comply with the ordinance.
I read this too quickly.
I'm actually reading it for the audience.
Okay,
Reasonable alternative, no other reasonable alternative is available to the applicant. Or safety, the applicant represents. And the code enforcement officer finds that blasting as permitted will not violate recognized safety standards. So they have to meet those things, and it is a little open
Mhm.
for the situations that we
Yeah, you
haven't
can't just put it
anticipated, right?
yeah,
You don't know what you don't know. Yeah,
Okay.
I think also it's really good.
yeah, it's great.
Thank you for doing this.
If you guys are good with this, I would like to entertain a motion to send this to town council for legal review so that we can then make this part of our ordinance.
Um, A, purpose and statutory, first page.
Yep.
Or nuisance damage to city's people property. It's a town.
Yep. We'll change that to town easily.
Other than that, I think it's ready to go.
Okay. So with those changes,
Yes.
if I could have a motion,
I make a motion.
John Harrow moves to send this to town council for review with
Second.
those changes. Trish Ferris seconds it. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. That brings us to excavation. So. Excavation. Now, I have not gone through this to look at the Centex stairs because there are many that need to be fixed. But I'm going to read to you, and again, this is more for the public. After reading New Hampshire RSA 155E and 72B, 15E is the one for the work, 72B is for taxing. I believe the following revisions should be made. Based on our conversation at a recent planning board meeting, I think that we might need to also look at the excavation regulations. Yellow. This document was supposed to be in color, so I will go with those changes. Yellow will be added, red will be removed. I have not changed any of the grammar or syntax, which also needs to be looked at. The purpose, we move the limits from 1,000 cubic feet to 300 cubic feet of disturbed earth. A typical house excavation is 200 cubic feet. This gives some extra, but 1,000 or it was actually 70 10-wheeler dump trucks seems a bit excessive. I have also added more information about the blasting section which we just sent to town council. Finally, in the exemptions, I would exempt road, driveway, paving, New Hampshire DOT, public utilities, and Ashland town workers. For work that they're doing on behalf of the town. This is the actual permit that is online. Section 3, definitions. A, I would strike out is located in New Hampshire because it's kind of irrelevant. We are the center of New Hampshire, that everything here is going to be located in New Hampshire. And on the third line down, well, actually, we're at the number 2 on the second line, for the purpose of. We don't need it. Second page. Under G. I would add 300, strike 1,000, and then it would read. Commercial excavation means excavation of 300 cubic yards or more. Strike approximately 70 10-wheeler dump truck loads of, and then earth intended for commerce.
Of earth.
Yeah, of earth, change the or to of. Commercial use earth materials leaving the property for whatever reason to be considered be a commercial operation. Okay, so all we're doing is taking out, adding 300, taking out 1,000, striking out the reference to how many dump trucks that is. Number H, again, add 300, take out 1,000. Number J, adding number J, which is dwelling, a house or apartment or a place of residence.
Residence,
So-
should that be small r?
Yeah, it can be. And all I added there was or a place of residence.
Okay.
And that goes back to the definition in our zoning ordinance, using the same, trying to use the same definition going through. L. Added, after loam, added the word materials or minerals. Minerals. And then that also references the blasting permit. Okay. Moving over to S. Again, added 300, took out 1,000. Going down to T. Added 300, took out 1,000. Going to section 5. Number 1. Took out. And the second sentence, or second line, took out 1,000, added 300.
There's a second,
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now. And doing the same thing on that one.
all right.
Add 3, take out 1,000. Going down to number 2, take out, add 3, take out 1,000. Going over to the next page 5. Going down to number 8, added a totally new line here. This is to do with exceptions. Added New Hampshire DOT, public utilities, and Town of Ashland work projects will be exempt from this ordinance. Number 9, construction to driveways and repaving of driveways that do not go below 3 feet in depth will be exempt from this ordinance. I talked to a paving company to see what they have to do for excavation. And this was his recommendation, that we don't go below 3 feet. If we go below 3 feet, then there's a bigger problem where we are doing excavation.
Just,
But 3 feet would be for putting in a base coat for a driveway.
where it says construction to a driveway, take off the S, add off driveways and make that one word,
Yep, driveway
the driveway, and then the repaving of driveways,
should be in small r.
small r, and then driveways, small d, yeah.
Right, going down to section 6, number 2, last sentence, it would be added within 100 feet of an existing septic or well area.
Should we take out the period after dwelling and make small w? So it'd be 100 within,
Yep, should that be a comma?
no, just take it out.
Should take it out,
Any dwelling within 150 feet.
okay?
And septic in that line could also be small ones. That's still number 2 under
Yep.
section 6.
And then we are on number 9, section 9, page 7. Going down to number 4. Adding to the ordinance. The total amount of material to be estimated will be determined and given to the building inspector / code enforcement before work starts. A final tally will be given to the building inspector / code enforcement officer at the conclusion of the work. So currently, the building inspector, code enforcement doesn't have to know how much is there. He just takes the word at the end of it. So
Should this be in line to code enforcement, take out the period, small b, before work starts, period? So that
No.
should be given to the building
one word.
inspector, code enforcement before work starts, period.
Or does it before work starts?
No.
Go with the final tally?
No, because then it's
Okay,
gonna final
final
tally be
tally,
given at the
Yeah.
conclusion of work.
Yeah, it should be period,
Yeah.
yeah, small b, okay.
So work starts, period, and then capital A of final tally
Yep.
will be given.
Okay. Next page. Letter B, section 3. The last thing. I'll read the whole thing. No blasting shall occur without receiving prior approval during the permitted process from the town and the state. Probably should be a period, but, or anyways, and then it says, comma, and must be notified the building inspector, code enforcement, police chief, designees, or fire chief or designee prior to blasting. See blasting ordinance.
It's a running,
So what are the, so receiving prior approval during the permitting process, take out the comma.
Period.
During the permit from the town and the state, period. And then new sentence, would it be the applicant? Must notify,
must.
Yes.
and
so the applicant must notify the building inspector, capital I for inspector, code enforcement, police chief or designee, and the fire chief or designee. Take out the period, small p prior to blasting.
Yes,
Okay,
And then capital S, C blasting ordinance, new sentence.
yes.
Okay.
Or in parentheses.
Lot
so
of
that,
work- lot of work
so
on
the
it.
ordinance did not require the notification of any of those. I believe that we've proven that it is important that they all are notified.
Mhm.
Okay, that brings us to the next page. We have referenced in places, we do not bury stumps. Yet this allows us to bury stumps. So I have struck out the word buried, where it refers to stumps.
Mhm.
So I will read number 3. Stumps and brush shall be allowed to be, strike out the word buried, stored on site as long as the stumps and trees are in a manner to preclude the
Should be are stored in a manner?
Stored on site.
stored on site,
As long as the stumps and tree parts, would that again be are stored in a manner? Should it be those
Sure.
words stored second time?
So stumps and brush shall be allowed to be stored on sites, so long as stumps. And shouldn't it all have the same wording, like is it stumps and brush or stumps and tree parts?
so I didn't change any of that.
Or all
This is what,
three?
this is what the ordinance says.
Oh,
So, like, we can change it however we want to make it make more sense.
well, then
This goes
stumps,
back to where,
comma,
this
brush,
goes back to that comment I made, that the syntax and words
yeah.
also need to be changed.
Yeah.
I did not change those.
So just so it all matches, I'd say like, turn it to stumps, comma, tree pots and
Mhm.
brush.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then it
Just
would be the
correct.
same. And I don't even know if you have to re-mention it.
Just as long as they are buried, right? Or-
They,
Yeah.
yeah, just shorten it a little.
Okay,
And
so,
I don't think we're gonna have any sinkholes if it's not covered, if it's just stored,
right,
so strike out sinkholes.
right, so how do you want it to be written?
Stumps and brush shall be allowed to be stored on site as long, I don't know, so long or as long
Mhm.
as they are stored in a manner
That precludes.
that precludes the development of sinkholes
We wanna strike out sinkholes.
or erosion. Oh, yeah,
Cause sinkholes.
yeah, it only happens if you bury them. Okay.
Exactly. Sinkholes and
Mhm. Yeah,
Okay,
so erosion, okay.
precludes the erosion. Go directly to that.
Hmm. And you don't have to
Of
have a
covered
cover
ditch.
materials because we're not burying it, right? And we'll,
Yeah,
I
just
don't know how
erosion.
they are. Although you might be covering it with something.
Right, so precludes erosion. And will be protective of the
From the
environment.
environment,
Yeah.
public health and safety.
Mhm.
And then we can get rid of the burial
Yeah,
again.
get rid of the burial. The storage site must be at least 75 feet from any water supply, 25 feet from any property line, and at least 4 feet above the seasonal high water table.
I think that one sounds fine.
The burial,
Nope.
Should that just be the storage?
the storage will be performed in accordance with all local, state, and federal regulations. The site plan and the property deed chain of title shall be provided. A statement of the property shall be used for the disposal of tree parts.
Of
The
stumps,
date-
brush and tree pots. It should all be worded the
Stump,
same.
tree parts and brush.
Yeah, so no change there.
Yeah, just add brush.
Yeah,
Okay. The date of the activity took place, the location of the burial areas, we can take out.
Storage areas.
Storage. With significant specificity to allow an independent third party to locate the areas. The eliminated quantity of waste disposed in of the property. Okay, you good with that?
Yeah.
Right, that brings us to page 10. Section 10. Section B of that, number 1, I added, it says the planning board or. I added building inspector and code enforcement. I took out its designee. We could leave its designee if you want. Okay. Number 3, same thing. I added building inspector, code enforcement, took out its designee.
so should it be the planning board or could it be the planning board and / or?
Yeah, it could be either one is fine, whatever you guys want.
Because there's no problem with both checking it out either.
And oftentimes we do go together for stuff.
Yeah. So I guess
So
it would
and
say
or?
and / or.
In both 1 and 3.
Yep. Okay. That brings us to E. On page 11. Again, swapping, adding 3, taking out 1,000. Going down to section 11. This is performance guarantees, B. At the end, adding the planning board reserves the right to hire at the developer's expense, a third-party review to come up with an adequate figure for a surety bond. So this is the paragraph already talks about the planning board going and getting an estimate from a person to do it, but this allows us to charge the appropriate people,
And
which also refers back to our site plan and everything.
maybe capitalize the B under planning board.
Okay. That brings us to page 12, number E, again, 300, 1,000. That brings us to page 17. Guess what? Again, 3 and 1,000. Under section 14, article 5, permits, 3 and 1,000. Going down to inspections, adding and or building inspector, code enforcement, taking out designate.
And / yeah, okay.
And capitalize inspector, code, and enforcement.
Okay. Questions, concerns? Do I have a motion? Linda moves to accept the revised article as presented. Correct?
Yes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Trish. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Oh. That's gonna bring us to the budget. Yeah, it's not on your agenda. So At last Thursday, I went to the CBA meeting. Presented the budget to them that we discussed. They have asked me to add $1,000 back in the event that we need to hire a person to take their minutes. In talking with the town manager, that may not necessarily be necessary because we now have Hootie, the owl, who is recording everything, and we are able to take minutes off of that. We do have $1,600 in there to transcribe them into minutes. We also have a $1 in that line in case something is needed to be purchased to do that. So, we can add it in later if needed, or we could add it in now, or we can just go through the process with the selectmen on it. What is your pleasure?
So the zoning board wants us to add 1,000.
For the recording,
Mhm.
but, we have this,
Understood.
yeah,
Do we have to budget for that or is that already paid for?
Already bought it.
Okay.
It was $1,600.
So
Yeah.
did they not know about that when they?
they
requested it?
actually did not know about that.
Mhm. So I would wait for
Yeah.
the selectmen.
So I think it's something that can be brought up as we get more information through the budget process.
Okay, sounds good.
Can talk to the budget committee about that.
So it was mentioned at the select board meeting that maybe we need to buy a standalone computer for that thing. Maybe we should put it in, let.
I'm still working on seeing if they have we might have a used one or something, or a hand-me-down one that'll just do meetings. Rather than buy a new one just to do the meetings.
Okay.
Cause it really doesn't need, it just needs to be able to operate, so.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
Could actually even just be a tablet.
Yeah, it could be, yeah. Well, even the iPads are $900 or whatever.
Yeah, but I know there are several around town.
Let's see what I can come up with.
So we're gonna leave it as it is for now. And
That's
then,
pretty cool.
it's actually very cool.
It is.
So for those of you who don't know what we're discussing is if you look up here, the meeting is being recorded and it's on Zoom and people are actually on Zoom are communicating in as well. So,
And it's not a link for it.
yeah. New thing the town manager brought us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you, Ron.
thank you.
We have
Um,
entered the new millennium.
Not trying to bring back COVID or anything, just more interactive stuff.
Well, COVID did bring around some pretty nifty things.
Yeah.
All right, so that brings
Except
us,
for the COVID.
that brings us to the mixed use district. This is totally new concept for Ashland. The general purpose and characteristics. I'm gonna start with that. This is intended to guide the growth while preserving the rural and small town characters and plans, including the establishment of a mixed-use district with a single in multifamily housing in commercial establishments on a traditional village scale, which will foster pedestrian use, promote safe traffic patterns, reduce curb cuts, and encourage shared parking and driveways wherever feasible and prudent. Within the mixed-use district, a principal structure may be mixed use. For example, a residence apartment may be located on the floor above the commercial establishment. The purpose of this district is to allow for increased density in a limited area while reflecting a more nuanced understanding, and that word's gonna be changed. Understanding of the area's unique geographics. Provided the footage of the secondary access roads are required, the district is better served by the community concerns in preserving the scenic views and attractive areas, the rural characteristics, while providing a workable venue for mixed growth near and that was supposed to have been struck. It was supposed to end at mixed growth.
Mhm.
Okay. But near state highways. All right. What I'm proposing is that we go from the Holderness Town line to Cottage Street. On the, if you're going towards Holderness, it will be on the left-hand side of the road. The right-hand side is already protected through the Squam Lake overlay. This would go from the edge of the pavement of the state right-of-way into the property. Roughly 500 feet. That takes into effect all of the businesses that are currently there. Between now and the last 5 years, there's somewhere between 17 businesses in that area that are not properly permitted. This would make them all legal. There is one lot which is zoned commercial on the zoning maps in this district. And that is a spot zoning because of, Mr. Latula has his shop out there, so they zoned that entire lot as commercial going down to Route 3. So that would be that area there. If you then come into town from Cottage Street going forward, we would then make both sides of the road commercial because they meet this definition. We have a 3-unit apartment house, and then we have or mixed use, not commercial, a 3-unit apartment house, and then we have I believe it's a 5 or 7-unit apartment house. And then we have Meredith Village Bank on the other side. So, and then we have some more apartments on the other side.
So Cottage Street or Cottage Place? Which one is it? This one?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so go back.
So show me, is this where Barbie lives? Is that what I'm looking at right here?
Yeah,
Okay, I know where I am now.
yeah, so. It is Cottage Street. On the riverside. Yes, Linda.
So, I think this is great.
Yep.
I support the idea. My big concern, based on our experience in other proposals that have come before us in the past, is to figure out how to define terms in a way that gives us flexibility on the one hand, but doesn't leave us vulnerable to loopholes that could be used to do things that we don't want.
I'm very nervous about this.
You know.
I can't even tell you how nervous I am about it. I don't think we're gonna fare well with it. And even when I drive, and the business is there and I don't, they're wonderful neighbors. But to change things just so we can make it legal for what people already have.
Well, it's not to
No.
make it legal for what people already
No.
have.
Yeah.
That is one of the
Okay.
effects.
Yeah.
But it's also, you have very good commercial land right there that people have asked to do commercial stuff on.
Mhm,
Because the lot next to them is commercial, but their lot is not commercial
mhm.
and have been denied to doing it, so it
Right.
lays as a woodlot still.
Well, and mixed use means,
When they bought it, they knew that it wasn't
Oh,
commercial.
they bought it before zoning.
Well, that might have happened, but that's
It was
the
passed
answer.
down through the family.
Right.
to my mind, key terms in here, and I actually, looked up whether there are definitions for any of this in a way that would protect what we want to preserve. Rural, small town, traditional village scale, attractive rural character, and I think those.
Now, once you put driveways in, the trees are coming down and
So in here. there
I
must-
just have to put that out
Yeah,
there.
no,
I'm not
no,
a
I
voting
understand that,
member,
and
so, but I'm
in
just-
writing this, I took that into, to
And I
So
know
we
that a
go
couple of
to-
weeks ago, we had all kinds of construction trucks going along the side of the road, because every now and then things happen, and then, yeah.
Does
Okay.
anyone know why they're widening that part of the road right now? They were doing it today.
They're
Water
not-
runoff,
Is that what they're doing?
They were-
No, they were cut like a whole berm bank of it.
yeah,
Yes. that-
water
that-
runoff.
Yeah,
yeah.
that storm drain runoff.
I was hoping it was a sidewalk.
They were doing a
No.
great job too.
Yeah, they did.
They do an excellent job, I have to
So-
say, I'm impressed.
So if you flip to, and I should have numbered the pages,
Mhm.
but, dimensional standards. It's after all the
Mhm.
stuff there. So every building lot shall be a minimum street frontage of hundred and 50 feet from the Route 3 to Route 25 right away, except where 1 and 2 lots are separated by a deeded private right of way. At least 50 feet in width, or where said lot are located on curves, cul-de-sacs, or affected by other such factors that sound planning justifies less frontage. In addition, every lot abutting the shore of the lake or pond or beach or bed of a stream shall have a minimum frontage of 150 feet measured at the straight line between the points of intersection in said lot line and the shoreline at normal high water evaluation and conform to the overlay district therein needed. Okay? Going down, frontal setbacks. Within any and other language in this ordinance, a 75-foot setback from the right of way of Route 3 and 25 shall apply to any such business for commercial purposes. 50 feet of that 75 setback shall be in the form of a buffer maintained in perpetuity and comprised of native vegetation, shrubs, herbs, and others that will block the view of the use of the highway. So that's to protect that scenic view.
But still, I don't see that it really is going to.
And so all of these different things, well, first of all, do we have to make a decision on this tonight?
No,
No,
Okay.
we're discussing.
no, we're just
I
discussing.
mean, that's just me, I'm
I'm kind of in this, in Donna's boat, or, so I wanna look at all of this and like
Mhm.
really think about it before we make any decisions, but. So for the different, what I'm finding interesting is like the table of uses, so permitted, conditional use and special exemption.
Mhm.
We basically can't say, no, you can't do this, so that's why special exemption is there, because if you have to get.
No, the special exemption is if it's something that for some reason, something doesn't fit, so they have to go to the ZBA to get an exemption or variance or waiver.
Okay, so then permitted means you can do it,
Permitted,
conditional
yeah.
use means,
Conditional would be if we set conditions for something that, for whatever, like with Donna's, the trees have to stay.
okay, and so, and then. Again, I haven't looked at all of these, but if there's something, I don't know, some
So-
kind of business that comes that's not on here, what happens?
Then they have to go before the ZBA. Or we have to make it a standard things.
And even if you, I've only, like, after we talked about this, I actually took drives down streets where people would have like 150-foot driveways, and they, just to see how much of a buffer and how much you do see. You can't get away from changing it, because you're still gonna have a pork chop effect where the driveway goes in, but then they're gonna be opening it up. So you're not going to ever have the density back, and then somebody next door is doing it, and then somebody next door is doing it. The density is gone. And
So-
I just hate to see that happen to Route 3, because that is,
So
Or
right,
scenic.
right now, Route 3. You could put a house right on the road with no buffers.
well, that's fine. So
There's
keep it
nothing in-
residential and put in specifics, but then it's just a house, and they might not open up as much as a commercial area would.
They may not. They could clear cut the whole thing right there too.
I doubt they would, though.
No,
Yeah.
but I'm saying that,
No,
that
they could.
they could.
but-
These allow for us to be able to protect the corridor.
And a lot of that's wetland in there, so.
There's very little
pretty wet.
wetland in there.
Pretty wet when you go by there. I don't imagine it's not.
So the,
But all the wetlands, also you have to have the buffer away from them as well
Right.
to protect those.
With I went through the specifics, sort of the specific categories, and to really meet the proposed vision, when it says sort of multifamily dwellings. I may have missed it. Is there a limit to how many families? So we're
height.
not, the height, right,
There is a limit to the height in this of 35 feet.
right, but as
And-
far
and-
as the number of families, how do we avoid? Something.
Again, we can put that in there of limiting the size of the building and everything. But you already have at least 5, I believe it's 7-unit apartment house in this district.
Okay, but that's the kind of place where I think if we think through carefully, what is the scale? And what's the upper limit, so that
Yep.
we're not talking about big scale, cluster development, and these are just thought
Yep.
points to.
I
to
just
be-
think, I think we're setting ourselves up and
Okay, but if I
by
was thinking
saying,
that.
no, I'm sorry, you're right.
As far as cluster development, again, do we wanna set limits on the scale?
We already do in our zoning ordinance.
Under
A
cluster
cluster development is legal in that area right now. Someone could come in and do that without a problem.
Okay,
They could also come in and do a congregate care thing in that area right now without a problem.
mhm. As far as repair facilities, I mean, does that mean if somebody wanted to put in a repair garage there, they could? Sorry, that's my thing, to need to drink water.
Possibly.
And,
And again, we can change.
yeah, well,
all
that's
that
what,
how-
yeah, so that's what I'm saying, thinking through,
we-
what would that mean? Do we
Right.
want to set limits on that?
All of these are going to need limits set on them.
Yeah,
That's why we're
exactly.
having this discussion. That's why I
Yeah.
put the whole boatload there. And then we can extract out what we want.
And so I think the main thing, if we are saying that what we want is to preserve rural, small town, traditional, attractive rural and so on, then if that's our filter, as we go through discussions of each of these terms, what limits would need to be added to each of these to stipulate anything more than this? And it's a no, because it would violate.
100% agree with you.
Exactly, no, I know,
Yep.
and so I'm just saying, I think that's a place, how do we protect the feel that we care about? And then the other thing, and I made, everyone knows I made little pockets for everybody. I do pockets. Kendall, did you speak one?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first one, that, here, the first one
You have to.
goes to, okay. The last category on this table is congregate dwelling.
Mhm.
And I wanna propose very strongly that we not include congregate dwelling because, and here's the New Hampshire Revised Statutes, titles, the first page. Defining congregate housing means low rent, publicly owned housing with which there is connected a central dining facility where wholesome and economic meals can be served. And I think that to me does not fit within.
I believe that it is much more expanded than the limited one that you're giving here.
Mhm.
I do agree that it probably should not be here.
Yeah.
But I believe that the definition is much more expanded
Mhm.
to be more of a elderly housing type situation. We did have one come before us
Yeah,
a long time ago. The reason they were denied was because they were in 2 zones. One zone allowed, one zone did not.
then if we end up including it, and I'm just worried about having a developer come in and saying, well, you had a loophole. And because it was allowed, we proposed it, and then we're not in a position to say no. I really wanna protect us
Mhm.
from that ever happening again, in which case, if we even include it, then I would hope we would say it's under, then it really has to go, it's no unless you get
Right.
specific.
I would actually recommend that we take that out of this zone. But I think we still need to define what it is.
Well, if we start, cause this says, elderly and adult services as definition, so
Right.
this is a starting point, but yeah.
But it can also be, non-elderly services too.
Yeah,
In New Hampshire, it generally refers to publicly owned low-rent housing with connected central dining facilities that provides meals and support. We said
Yeah.
that. The term also encompasses assisted living facilities, so it's
Right.
all.
Mhm.
Right.
so so anyway, just, that's a term in particular. that
Shelters,
concerns
The only,
temporary Shelter.
my only caveat to that is the new changes in state law.
Mhm.
So you either have to specifically say no to it,
Mhm.
or you have to allow it in every zone. Right now, we allow it in every zone,
And I think that shelters are
with the
considered
exception of industrial.
congregate housing,
They are,
like family shelters.
they are.
Yeah.
They're considered shelters, welfare hotels, congregate shelters would provide temporary limited accommodations for people in need.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I recommend that we have a lot of discussion about that term in particular, just given some of our concerns about the town already supporting a lot of facilities and housing.
I would also strike from here. Motels and hotels.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Cause bed and breakfast homes, that,
Bed and breakfast would not be a problem here.
no, and we're already zoned, we already have zoning that allows for that and is.
Well, we have
really
zoning that
for
allows
some-
for hotels and motels too, but
Right, but in this zone, I think the home factor sort of within residences is in keeping with.
the rural characteristics, yes.
Right. So that's where I'm wondering, repair facilities. We may want to define what kind of repair facilities. Cause I.
Right, are we talking automotive or are we talking woodworking?
Right.
And, why is agritourism special exemption?
We kind of actually have agriculture there with a thing that the shops are doing, I
Yeah,
believe,
Mhm.
and that's why it's in there.
well, why would we wanna do a special exemption rather than permitted for that? It sounds like farming.
It is.
Visiting
we're
farm.
Trying to figure out where it is. Yeah, I mean, it just,
So we just have to come through all of these.
yeah,
So,
we have to go through all of this.
so what's the, like, I know that.
I think that the reason for special exemption there would be if you have up on the hill, you have a working farm and you have, petting zoos and you have, different things up there that you're bringing people,
Mhm.
but then you're going to put the parking lot down at the bottom of the hill at the road.
Hmm.
Let's take Witten Woods, for example.
Mhm.
They have the parking lot right there at the bottom. They have the trail that goes up and stuff up top. So the special exemption would be on the parking lot more than it would be on anything else.
Mm.
Where to put that? And how to protect that so that it keeps the rural characteristics.
Okay. and-
Again, they would have to go before the zoning board
Yeah.
with that full plan for that. Cause they're gonna be in more than one zone.
And as Kendall noted when I talked to him at the beginning of the meeting in the little packet. The next sheet, we've talked about the new legislation. There's a summary of what that legislation covers, and as you pointed out, it probably doesn't affect us a lot. But it's useful, I think, for us to know
It
what
is
it
very
does
useful.
cover. So the first page, there is a summary of the legislation. On the other page, the back of that, there's no general New Hampshire state legislation about mixed use, but there's some general understandings in the state about what mixed use refers to. I think it's just useful for us to have a starting point of common language. And then there's an article from NHPR on just summarizing again the legislation. And finally, there's a one-sheeter on what some ways of thinking about what does rural character mean. And this is all for starting points for discussion, but I think some of these terms it's easy to assume we all mean the same thing by them, and we may, but we may not. And so I think discussing what do we as a board mean by these terms, and what does that include and what does it exclude
So what's,
is useful.
yeah, totally, thank you. What's the process for this? Like, once we agree
The
on it?
process of this is for us to go through this. To have this, if we want to take it to the voters, then we have to have this, ready in November.
Okay.
Public hearings are in December. It gets published, goes to the deliberative session in February and goes to the voters in March.
Okay.
But the key thing is we have to have anything that we're taking to the voters, we have to have ready for November.
Okay.
Mhm.
So,
And that's why some of these things I brought them up early.
yeah,
Yeah.
So,
smart, yeah, cause it's a conversation, totally.
yeah,
So I get this blurb, but like brass tacks, why are we doing this? To,
we do not have good commercial property in the town.
Yeah.
We have an area where we could do that. Where other towns, that's what they have done. Route 3 is designated by the state of New Hampshire as a commercial area. That's why they do not have, it's not a special permit to get, driveway permits. It's automatic permits for Route 3 pretty much. It's not a restricted zone.
so it's to promote growth.
It's to promote growth
And to make more room for small businesses.
for small businesses, and
Not-
the emphasis is on small.
Small businesses, more support for home occupations, and I think with the Economic Development Committee. Trying to think about what the options are to increase. You know, at a scale that makes sense for this town.
Right.
Having a designated district that supports. Residential and the option to. Legally expand business opportunities for the town.
Yeah.
May I ask a question?
Yes,
So downtown Ashland is vacant. And we don't need more commercial space. There's plenty right there. Let's develop that. Let's allow people to bring businesses there.
we do.
That's where it should be. That's
Yeah.
that's our
We-
downtown where
we
the
would love
Common
to do that.
Store is. That area there is great for that Route 3 exposure.
Yep.
And yeah, home businesses, you have a home business, it's a little different than saying you're going to allow for a tattoo parlor to be next door to, you know, Mrs. Smith. I mean, it seems unfair at this point to start making those changes when there's plenty of vacant businesses in town that aren't being rented
But
out.
that might be the kind of business that would get referred to downtown.
Yeah, but we can't tell them where to go. That's right, they're gonna, if.
Except that if we have standards for what this mixed use.
Yeah, but
has
we
to look
can't
like and
say
so on.
you can't open a tattoo parlor there, that's discrimination, it's
Well,
against the laws, if we set it up, so we have to be super careful.
Yes, we
We
do.
do.
But on the other hand, if we're saying there's a certain vibe that we want to preserve within this mixed use. And so we're not saying a tattoo parlor can't come into town, but maybe in the mixed use area, that's not the right place.
For the record, I like tattoos.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. The only reason I don't
Right.
have any is I figured I'd get really saggy as I got older and it wouldn't look good.
I mean, we have a tattoo parlor in town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah.
We do?
Yes, we do.
Wow.
So, two things. Right now.
Yeah.
If someone wanted, I mean, so what would you,
It's down by Burger King.
yeah, so if you said. If you said there's like 17 operating businesses already there, that they're either operating legally or illegally or,
Technically, they're all illegal
right,
by our zoning codes,
so,
with the exception of one,
so I guess.
which
like,
is
But not when
questionable.
they built and when they first went there.
No, most of them were after zoning.
So
So
if someone, so what's stopping, I mean, if we're not, if we as a town
We're
are
not
not
enforcing it.
enforcing laws,
Why
why
do you
do
But
even have
that's a
laws?
problem. If the
Wait, but
town
that's
has
not our
laws
problem,
and-
that's not the planning board's problem to fix.
No, but
True.
So wait, let me finish.
Yeah.
So those, like, so someone, I could buy one of those houses and start a business and no one's gonna say anything to me, right?
Well, technically, the buildings, we have had spotty code enforcement. Now we have a code enforcement officer who's doing his job, so. We,
He's online too.
I know he is, and,
Yeah, I know, I'm just saying, so it's like, so we're I mean, we're changing the law so that it will be legal for these businesses and future businesses to come. But
Yes.
right now, it is what it is, like,
Right.
they're all operating illegally.
Yeah. Well, and previously there was a town manager who stalled a lot of the efforts at enforcement.
right,
And so it isn't that there weren't attempts to enforce, but a lot of it got stalled, and that's not really good operating procedure, in my opinion, for a
Right.
town, to have ordinances and regulations and then
I
just
can't, I
say.
can't control
do
what
what
has
you want.
happened in the past, I can
No.
only make us
Right,
better for the future.
right, right.
And that was my intention in proposing this, is to make things better for the future.
Mhm.
You know,
I
and to,
was-
and to control how we do develop it in that regard, so that we are able to do it the way the community wants it done.
I myself think it's going to be hard when we make it mixed use, and of course, I could be very wrong. But I think, once you do that and it's mixed use, and if we get mostly commercial and businesses along Route 3, that traffic coming in and out, in and out, in and out. Where residential right now on the lakeside, I don't really see much traffic coming in and out, and that's pretty much bought up by residential people who have built. And I would like to see the same thing on the other side and nothing else but. And they tend to, without regulations, set themselves back with trees blocking themselves.
That's a busy road. They don't.
From Route
right
3,
there.
they don't wanna
I get
see
that.
Route 3.
That's-
Where commercial and businesses are gonna wanna hang signs, they're gonna want people to know how to find them. I just
Well,
don't.
and
like
that's
the
why
idea
we
of
have
mixed
that.
use.
That buffer zone there.
Yeah, but you have to have signs and you have to have something.
Right, but we have
So-
regulations about signs.
And
limits
the
signs.
object here is not to have. This is like mom and pop stores, not,
Mm,
it's not to have big business.
yeah, I don't know. I guess I just don't trust that, but that's what it's gonna be.
Okay, but
I know,
Then-
I know, I
but-
know.
but
It's cringing.
just a thought,
I
open
know.
mind,
Yes, I'm
And-
trying.
and create really clear rules.
Yes.
In
Yes,
other words,
Mhm.
trust, but verify and set real.
No, I love all your ideas that
So-
you came up with.
You know,
Well, it doesn't matter what we decide to do at this table. Once we define it,
Mhm.
it's up to the voters.
That's
right,
right.
100% up to the voters to do as they so choose.
True.
We're just trying to make the definition, to make it so that we have something to bring to them.
Mhm.
well, and where I think many people in town feel badly burned by things coming in that don't fit the character of the town.
Exactly, and this is to keep
This,
it
I
to the
think,
character of the town.
yeah, I think this is, the onus is on us.
Yes.
To make it very, very strict about what could come in, what can't come in, to think about, and I would want legal to review it for
Oh,
every,
100%.
I know.
That's
for
why we
every
have to have it in
possible-
November.
Yeah.
So legal can review it, so we
Yeah.
can have our hearings in December.
But I would want in-depth troubleshooting for every possible loophole that could screw us over.
And how about
To
that big building in the center of town? And everybody said they didn't follow, and what was the repercussion for them building that big monstrosity? Nothing.
That building followed the rules that were set forth by the planning board at the time.
Oh, they did?
Yes, they
What
did.
building we're
So
talking
that's
about?
why the
That's
three-unit
huge
condo.
one,
Right,
the
so-
And the zoning.
Three.
Yep, and
Yeah.
the zoning.
Well.
Wait, but
that's-
Andy, you said, you made a great point, right? It's up to the voters, but
I know.
if we don't have to bring something to the voters, right? Like this is, is this
We
like,
don't have.
are we
to-
being told by someone that this needs to
No.
be
No,
done?
no,
No,
Okay.
no,
Are the vote, but can the voters come to us and say this needs to be? I'm like, what? I guess I'm like, what's the process there?
the
Like, yes,
process is we bring it to the voters.
right, but this is like,
Well, we're gonna have to have two public hearings on this.
right, but this whole thing, the whole discussion around mixed use zone is because we, a planning board, brought it up.
No, the reason for this is the businesses that are currently there.
this is identifying an existing problem and trying to figure out how to solve it and at the same time create carefully limited opportunities going forward for the town, is that right?
Yes.
So I'm not, what I'm hearing here is that we are doing something to
Mhm.
accommodate businesses who are operating illegally.
Not only that, it's also to say going forward, I mean, if going forward, do we want to have a zone where that encourages small home businesses, small, I mean, like a little cafe, something that's kind of charming, something that people,
That you can't see from the road or
well, or that,
otherwise you have big parking lot.
well, or that the parking lot, maybe we say the parking lot has to be set in a way that it's not right up, so that you don't have a strip mall of parking lots. But if you think about the furor in this town around Dewdrop Inn, and people being really upset that a place they like it was not zoned to allow a place like Dewdrop Inn. Suppose somebody else wants to create a little cafe or a place to kind of go, or I don't know, a little bookstore, I don't know. But the point is,
Or
things
Jelly
that,
Shack.
you know,
Those are all family owned.
Yeah.
Residents that live there, other than Dairy Joy. Everybody else, they live the fish, the bait shop, the jelly shop, the
Mhm.
dewdrop, they live on that property.
Right, but
Right,
under the
and
current
that's what
zoning,
this
they're not
is
allowed.
Right, so.
This would make it so they are allowed.
Great, I love that.
Yeah.
But does it specifically say as a small, under 2 employees,
They
this
can.
amount of this, and you're only allowed to have an in-home business?
no,
35 feet high is pretty big business.
No, I'm not saying you should have.
35 feet high is a
It's
normal
your own
residence
personal
house.
space.
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
possible
But
to
it's-
do, say, spot mixed use?
no,
No,
So it's.
that's
either
what
one
we're
or
trying to
all.
avoid is spot zoning.
but this would allow you.
In
just to
zoning
have it
practices,
purely
that's a very
residential,
bad thing.
Okay.
or a small business and live there,
Mhm.
or just a small. There is sort of this, there are different ways you can do mixed use, and one is having a single building up. There are sort of horizontal mixed use, which are having all the options in a zone. And the other is really emphasizing walkability, you know.
There's no one
Something,
walking on that road for businesses.
That's what I was hoping.
no, there wouldn't be given route.
Yeah,
I know.
and on it, it's super dangerous.
I fully appreciate there wanting to be a sidewalk. They
It's-
should
yeah,
be,
it's
Yeah,
super
there
dangerous.
should be.
especially on that corner.
Yes.
But anyway, so to answer your question, the answer is yes, we can do that, but this is the forum to do that. And that's what we're discussing,
But I
really.
was thinking if you're going to present it to the voters, there should be options. It shouldn't be
Oh, yeah.
either, yes, you either allow mixed use and anybody can come in and put a.
So,
building.
what we have to do is an ordinance for them to present, so it is gonna be in a sense of take it or leave it type thing. But we want as much input from the public as we can to get it to be what they want.
Right, so by
And-
the time it comes up for a vote, you can't walk into the voting booth and say, well, now I'm gonna change it. But the more people can weigh in and say, okay, well, would this be allowed? I really worry about this. The more input like that, the more we can craft it in a way that it really does meet what people would feel comfortable with and that would be attractive to them. There's no point in, I mean, that's the importance of having a lot of community input, and we gotta figure out how to get lots of people to come to these meetings so we can present the different terms and say, okay, help us troubleshoot.
All right, so looking at the calendar, you said this has to be wrapped up by what day?
November meetings.
Okay, wrapped up. So, and we're talking about heavy pressure texting from legal, which would
Mhm.
probably take a month. In
That's
October.
why November.
October, so we have September to figure this out.
No, we have September and October.
But
to
but
figure
you
it out.
but Linda makes a good point that if we do present anything, we're gonna want legal to poke holes in it. Act like,
Oh, yeah, they're going to.
That's
would
November.
that would, oh,
That's what,
that's
why
okay.
we wanna wrap
You
it
would
up in
hand it to
November.
legal in November.
Correct.
Okay, so we have 2 months on top of other big hearings that we have in September that
Correct.
we need to think about.
Mhm.
So we, seriously, so we need, I would suggest, it's getting late, I would suggest
And we have
setting
other
up,
stuff we gotta do. So
setting some times.
I would suggest that either we have a special meeting
Yeah.
to discuss this.
Yes,
But first I would say that we send this through the, to everybody to make comments on the shared document thing that we were doing.
Yeah. Is
Um,
that like a Google Doc? I can't.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
Google Docs, and then we bring that to a special meeting.
In September.
And so,
Yeah.
I guess
Yes,
it's
in
in September now.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. I know it's probably covered under noise ordinances, but if you have multi-use, then you have two residential homes and if a company comes in,
Mhm.
because now it's commercial. What if there's a lot of noise from that company? Like there's trucks coming in and out all day long. And
Yeah.
now the two residents have to live with that
That
because they
can be,
never knew
that
that
can
was
be
going
fully
to
addressed in this. We do have a trucking company in this area,
happen. I know that.
so.
But that's all the more reason, I think,
Right.
to look at each one of these and say, what's the worst that could happen with this particular kind of thing?
I fully expect
Absolutely.
that these things here that we have listed are going to be very shrunk down from these.
Mhm.
But giving to everybody, everything to make that decision rather than,
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so do we want to try to pick a date in September where we could do this?
sure.
Yeah.
We can do it right after the CBA on the 11th. What's your schedule, Trish? You're gonna be the hardest one.
Um. I'm actually, the week of the 15th and the week of the 22nd, September. I guess I could do the 11th after the ZBA meeting, like 7:30, 8 o'clock at night.
The ZBA meeting is gonna be very short, I would imagine, but we can do it Tuesday night. Let's see.
On the 9th, we
Actually,
have the
yeah.
Historical Society.
Yeah.
Right, Monday, the 15th is the selectmen's meeting, Tuesday, the 16th. Is there anything on Tuesday, the 16th?
Mhm.
Works for me.
Yeah.
Does that work for everyone else?
Mhm.
Okay, so we'll have a special meeting, 6 o'clock,
Yeah.
September 16th.
September 16th. The only agenda item will be this,
What time?
6 o'clock. So I'll move that we have a special planning board meeting to address the issues of mixed use at 6 o'clock. In this room if it's available, or to be announced where, I just have to check with the electric department.
And I would suggest going through and troubleshooting each of these categories, including whether we want to cut something altogether.
Yep.
And looking at if X kind of business or mixed use were to come in, what stipulations would have to be in effect to protect the the environment of the place, the vibe of the place, the scenic, and so on. In other words, to
Okay.
sort of say, how would we come in and
Do I have a second to that motion?
Second.
second?
Second from Tricia. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so we will do it then. Okay, next thing I have is. I have a Mylar that Linda and I will sign at the end of the meeting, just so everyone knows this is the Mylar from the last meeting. The only thing I have left on here is non-public. Do we need to discuss that?
You want to?
I think we should.
Okay.
So at that, I am moving that we move into 91A non-public for legal to discuss a legal issue that has come to our attention.
Interesting meeting. Thank you.
Bye.
Please come to more.
Yeah, all welcome.
The one question I had is.
I called it, I end the meeting
Mixed use.
at,
It's in there, that what you write.
8:49, 7:49.
Already operating there and what you
If they're
write.
already there,
Then it's grandfather, so your grandfather, right? Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, this would not be.
I know, I was just saying. No, that's,
Bye.
you're your grandfather.
Thank you.
Oh,